Hi, this is Wu Jiang. Welcome to my channel. After thinking about it for a long time, I finally decided to try DIY PPF wrapping my Cybertruck this weekend. Honestly, getting it done professionally is pretty pricey, and since this is my first time doing a full body wrap, I figured I'd save some money and do it myself. In today's video, I'm going to share the methods and useful tips I learned while working on this project. The pre-cut kit I used was kindly provided by a brand called Tliard. They have so many color options, it actually took me a while to pick one. I looked at a lot of references, and personally, I thought a glossy black would look cool, so I went with super bright metallic black. From car wash to wrapping, let's get started. One of the most important steps in the wrapping process is to get the surface perfectly clean and make sure all dust and debris are completely removed. I had to be more meticulous than my usual car wash. If there's any deeply embedded debris on the body, it's a good idea to use a clay bar to make the surface smooth. Since the film needs to wrap around the edges, it's crucial to clean these edge areas thoroughly to remove all contaminants. Once the car is washed, it's best to work indoors if possible to prevent any new dust or debris from settling on the surface. Let's take a look at what's inside Tliard's Cybertruck pre-cut PPF kit. The PPF film arrived well rolled in a large box. The kit included 2 spray bottle heads, 2 squeegees, and a screwdriver set. Unrolling the film, I saw it wasn't individually packaged per part. Several parts were on one large roll. So, before you start, it's a good idea to cut out the pieces for each section and label them. The roll is quite large, so doing this prep work in a spacious area like your living room beforehand will make things much smoother later on. Looking closely at the film, the quality seems really good. It's definitely thicker than regular vinyl wrap. The metallic flakes sparkled more than they appeared in the photos and were evenly distributed. I didn't see any noticeable scratches or damage. A big plus for this kit is that it's pre-cut to wrap around the body edges, so no metal parts of the doors or other panels will be exposed. Besides what's in the kit, let me show some additional supplies that are helpful for the project. They say it's better to use distilled water, which has minerals and impurities removed, rather than tap water for wrapping, so I got some of that. I also have a tucking tool for finishing the corners. And if you're working alone, magnetic holders are useful for securing the film. I also bought some extra squeegees. I also prepared 70% isopropyl alcohol to mix for the tack solution and baby shampoo for the slip solution. You'll need a heat gun for the corners later, so work gloves will make that easier. And 2 separate spray bottles for the slip and tack solutions. For the slip solution, I mixed 32 ounces of water with 2 milliliters of baby shampoo. For the tack solution, I used a 9:1 ratio of water to alcohol. Let's start with the hood first. Touching the hood surface, I felt some roughness, so I sprayed slip solution and used a clay bar to remove any contaminants. Then, I sprayed slip solution again and laid the film. When you peel off the backing paper from the film, it's important to immediately spray the adhesive side evenly with slip solution. This prevents the film from sticking to itself or other surfaces. Once the film is laid out, align one corner accurately and use the squeegee to tack it down. Check if the other corner is aligned, then apply pressure from top to bottom, squeegeeing out the slip solution. This film is cut with extra material for wrapping the corners, which makes working on the edges a bit easier. The Cybertruck's surface are so flat that as long as you align the corners correctly, the job isn't too difficult. After squeegeeing, spray the edges with the tack solution to remove any remaining slip solution. This helps the film adhere better when the water dries and you wrap the corners. If you try to wrap the edges right away while it's still wet, it might not stick well. So, I'm going to work on other parts first and come back to finish these edges later. Next, I'll work on the front bumper. The surface felt a bit uneven, so I used a clay bar on it first. I sprayed plenty of slip solution, roughly positioned the film, then removed the backing paper and reapplied to the bumper. I started by aligning and tacking down the right corner, then worked my way to the left. After squeegeeing, I sprayed the edges with tack solution to remove the slip solution. While the hood edges are drying, I'll work on the driver's side door. For the door, it's much easier if you remove the window rubber trim first. Roll the window all the way down, then push the trim inwards, and it should come off easily. Just like the front bumper, spray the entire surface with slip solution to remove any dust, then spray again before applying the film. Using magnetic holders to secure the film makes the job much more convenient. Align one edge, squeegee it to fix it in place, then carefully squeegee out the water from top to bottom. And again, clean the edges thoroughly with tack solution and let them dry. While I was working on other areas, the front bumper edges seemed to have dried, so now it's time for the finishing work of tucking the edges in. When tucking corners, first press firmly along the bodyline edge, then use a squeegee or tucking tool to nudge it inwards. Wearing wrapping gloves allows you to apply pressure more smoothly. If the lower part of the hood or bumper is dry, finish it in the same way. If there's still some moisture, use a heat gun to dry it a bit before proceeding. Back to the door to finish the edges. Once everything is done, reinstall the window trim. Now, for the driver's side panel, it's best to remove the side mirror for this part. Open the door and pull back the rubber trim and you'll see 3 T40 bolts. Loosen these to remove the mirror. However, one of the bolts was so tight that I couldn't get it off with the tools. So I decided to try and work around it without removing the mirror. Same as the other panels, I sprayed slip solution, removed dust, and then applied the film. The PPF piece was cut to go underneath the side mirror, so since I couldn't remove it, I had to trim a bit of the film. It was a bit tricky, but I think it turned out pretty well covered and not too noticeable. While the driver's side door edge is drying, I'll start on the front fender. For the fender, you need to remove the plastic trim piece first. It's held by plastic clips, so if you pull it with a bit of force, it'll pop off. This trim has a camera attached, so I didn't remove it completely, just enough to tuck the film underneath. Spray slip solution, position the film, and then proceed in the same way. While the fender edge is drying, I'll finish the driver's side door edge that I worked on earlier. I gently warmed the edge with a heat gun and then pressed it down firmly with my fingers to wrap and stick it. Then, I did the same for the front fender corner. That's it for the first day. The next day, I started on the remaining sections. For the long upper trim piece, I again cleaned off the dust, applied the film, secured the corners, and started working. I initially aligned the rear corner and moved forward, but I found there wasn't much space in the front corner. So, I think it's better to use that front part as an anchor point and work your way backward. Finally, the largest panel on the Cybertruck. You'll need to remove the wheel arch trim piece here as well. This trim is in 2 pieces and doesn't have a camera, so you can just take it off completely. The film is really big, so having another person to help makes it much easier. You can use magnetic holders to position it, and I removed the backing paper little by little as I went. I started by securing the top front corner and slowly worked my way back. Although the panel is large, the body is so flat that it wasn't too difficult. Once the film is applied, spray the edges with tack solution, wipe them clean, and let them dry. After a short break, the edges were dry, so I proceeded with the finishing touches. And just like that, half of the wrapping job is done. Now, I'll turn the car around and start on the trunk and the other side. I definitely got the hang of it after the first day, so my working speed was much faster. The trunk area is also mostly flat, so that was finished quickly. Next up is the rear door. Again, make sure to remove the window trim piece first. After the edges dried, I used a heat gun to finish them. Then I started on the rear body panel. This is also quite a large piece, so it took some time, but I made sure to align the corners well and stretch the film slightly to ensure it wrapped the edges sufficiently. After cleaning off the slip solution with tack solution, I used a heat gun on the edges while carefully tucking them in. the long trim piece above the window, as I mentioned before, I worked on by securing the front edge first and then moving towards the back. Now for the passenger side door panel. I tried to remove the side mirror again, but one bolt on this side wouldn't budge either, so I ended up working without removing it again. I had to cut the film around the mirror a bit, but luckily it's not too noticeable. Finally, the very last piece, pull off the wheel arch trim cover. This one has a camera, so I didn't remove it completely. I tackled the trickiest edge first to secure it, then applied the film following the body lines. Pop the plastic trim back in, and the wrapping job is complete. If some areas don't adhere well due to dust or moisture causing the film to lift, I used a bit of 3M adhesion promoter on those spots to enhance the bond. Do a walk around of the car, and if you see any lifted edges, carefully press them down again. It's important to clean the gaps between trims and panels thoroughly beforehand, as dust trapped there can prevent good adhesion. I worked on it for 2 days, and then I kept an eye on the corners and edges for a few more days. Thankfully, there were no noticeably lifting anymore. Being a metallic super glossy PPF, it really has a nice pearl-like effect just like actual paint, and the gloss is amazing. I'm really happy with it. Since it was my first time wrapping, it's not perfect, but if I were to do it again, I feel like I could do a much better job. Now that it's transformed into glossy black, the perfect finishing touch is to go into the Tesla vehicle settings and change the Cybertruck's exterior color to metallic black to match. I've put links to the wrap kit and a discount coupon code in the description below, so if you're interested, be sure to check them out. I'll be back with more useful videos, so if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. See ya!